Welcome and merry meet. Now I'm going to have a 2022 forecast for Virgo. So let's see, Virgo, what's in store for you. Dun, 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 dun. And hope everybody is having a blessed full moon. And the moon is in Leo, I believe. Yes. So, or Cancer. So I believe it in Cancer right now, but in 1 hour is full moon in Leo. So, but of course, it's Cancer. The full moon is in Cancer now in January. So let's see. Wow. It seems like there has been in 2021 a very painful period in your life, you know? Maybe someone around you has died or gotten sick, and that there has to be an ending. Maybe even suicide, you know? And for some of you, maybe some of you have been hospitalized after a quite painful period. And what put an end to that period was you getting hospitalized or need a vacation to a health farm, or you know, and so on. And that has put you quite into that seems to have awakened your mind in some special way, Virgo. That there has been some painful and maybe even lonely periods of time. Maybe even there has been some obstacles when it comes to money. And for some of you, it might have been quite stable. But with the Ten of Swords there, so is it clear to me that many of you might have had a mental breakdown, have a tendency in 2021 and in early past to have this negative thinking. Maybe some of you have been depressed or and so on. You know, that it doesn't seem to me like there is other people putting you down. I feel more like this is pointing at your inner enemy, you know, the negative talking that we can do to ourselves, and that can be quite, if not the most destructive negativity and critique you can have, because what you tell yourself is what's matter in the long run, you know. Doesn't matter what other people say if you are thinking what you are thinking is what's important and will be the result of the negativity, not what other people say. Though you might have felt a little bit afraid of what other people might think of you, that is not that kind of negative thinking. I feel like there is this typical Virgo tendency to that your bad self-esteem or the way you view yourself, that you are very critical. Many is claiming that the Virgo is very critical to other people, but they are 10 times more critical towards themselves, you know. And that might have been reached the top of the proportions, because, as I said, some of you have been needing to go maybe to psychiatric ward or an institute or something, or some place that is helping you with these emotions, you know, this negativity. And that might have left you with a little time to take a pause, you know, a little breathing time in a difficult period. Though the problems, of course, hasn't disappeared, because if there hasn't been done some great deal of effort to overwin this negative way of thinking, you know, that nothing will get better, you know. You can't just hang on the fence. And when you have this kind of attitudes and way of thinking, because when this negative thinking dominates, it's very hard to break up with this kind of thinking, you know. This is not just, oh, I'm not pretty enough. This is deep, you know. This is really devastating, and you have felt quite defeated in many ways. But to change this, many of you have done this great deal of effort and done something about it. But as I said, there might be something that has to do with a partner or a lover or something, someone in your family, someone close to you, someone that you maybe share finances with. Can also be a partner in work that is helping you with all of this, or, you know. For some few of you, maybe you have lost someone that has earth in their chart in some way. Or maybe they have sought your help after a great deal of negativity happening to them, especially if it's another earth sign, that they have find a resting place and healing place by you. And might have been a lot of conversations and talking through it all. And then let me see. I feel like also that there is this great deal of anxiety that needs to be worked with, a lot of tension, nervous tension. And for many of you, you might have this starting over in some way. maybe after all of this, that you, if you're not changing the way, you know, sometimes this card, two swords upside down, tells you about difficulties by the inner enemy. Just almost like 10 swords is talking about negative thinking. This is some kind of warning about thinking about things twice, you know. And that positive changes needs um, new ways, and carefully moving forward and changing this so slowly, you know. You might want to do this in a hurry, and that can be backfire in some way, you know. I feel like there will be this need for defending your emotion, your new, maybe you have, your feelings have changed, so that in 2022 you might have to defend a lot of your new ways of being. Because, you know, if people, if someone, you know, two swords upside down can always, sometimes always point at some people that is trying to make you change yourself, so they earn on it, you know, so they win on it. So be careful if you think someone is fooling you or trying to make you do and change so they can benefit from it, you know. And because it can also be lies and betrayal in this card. But in some way, this is something that you have let them, if I can put it that way. So this is also a warning about signing documents and do something that's difficult to go back on, you know. And if you should change in some way, it should be for the best for yourself, you know. So this new way of dreaming and feeling and being emotionally, maybe you will have to defend yourself, or feel at least that you have to defend these emotions that you are having. Because, for example, if you have changed for the better, for your own good also, like for example, stop drinking, you know, though you have eliminated that problem, you know, there is still some consequences that you need to deal with after also. You know, it's not paradise just by quitting or changing your emotions, you know, because it needs a slowly process. And, you know, maybe you will have to defend your way of thinking and the way you speak. There might be a very cold man around you somewhere that is quite harsh, you know, he's quite cold. He's thinking with his head and not his heart, you know. This can be your lawyer and your economic advisor, or what, revisor, Is that in English too? Revisor. But maybe you will have some help from maybe even a doctor. You know, maybe some of you have been having problems with, as I said, your nervous system, that the magician also is ruled by Mercury, that also rule communication, the nervous system, you know, and so on. Maybe you have to defend this anxiety and that you still need more time because they want you to do this and they want that, but you need to change slowly, you know. And there are some might be a difficult time when it comes to materialistic things. Maybe you will have a lot of expenses, you know, like you have a lot of bills to pay and so on. Overall, the materialistic will not might not be the most wonderful in 2022 for many of you. But this can also point at I feel like there might be some of you that is in 2022 we seek financial advice, maybe, you know. Maybe some of you, especially if you're a man, is having trouble speaking your mind. Talking about emotions for you is difficult, or that you have difficulty speaking up when you should. But I feel more like it's some financial advice, and that some of you will have some advice maybe from a doctor, a psychiatrist, something like that. I feel like also many of you feel like have some burden, some family, or there is a burden within the family that makes things a little bit difficult. And things can happen fast in 2022, especially when it comes to your father figure. You should be careful with authority. Maybe you will be a lot in media talking against society or the authority, the state, you know, and people that are rule. You might question some of the aspects about corona, for example, or the vaccine or something like that. That will be quite important to you also in 2022. And I feel like there will be a lot of there is a lot of warnings here in 2022 to you, Virgo, about going slowly forward when it comes to changes, and be careful about who you are trusting, because there is 3 cards that have clear warning about trusting people that will lie to you, especially, for example, over the internet, because you might get the wrong advice from someone, you know. Maybe some of you will travel a lot or be quite restless in 2022. And as I said, there is the bottom card is the Fool upside down that is telling you also about the nervous system, you know, about anxiety and so on, but and tension, but it's also telling you to look twice before you jump. You know, do your research before you make any serious decisions. And overall, be careful who you trust, Virgo, and go slowly forward. Especially maybe if it is can be an Aries, it can be someone that has air in their chart, but I feel like things will happen fast, especially around circumstances that comes to your family. And if money comes to you, it seems like it will disappear as fast as it comes, you know, because it also points that might be some difficulties when it comes to the financial in 2022. Because there is one of the meanings, it has several meanings, that card. Because I feel like there will be a lot of that your family will be unlucky, you know, relatives and family, that there is this burden in some way. Maybe you are worrying about a family member, because 10 of Pentacles very often points at a burdensome family, and that there is a lot of burdens in the family, you know. And as I said, maybe you are worrying a lot about a relative, maybe someone that is older than you, maybe even one of your parents. I feel it's a close family member usually, you know. Maybe some of you feel like it's difficult to live up to your family traditions also, and live up to your family's expectations, and that you feel like you are limited or crippled in some way because of your background. You know, it's in one of the tarot books. It also is having this quote. I remember that in some families, you know, especially a religious family, that only one way is accepted. Only one way to God is accepted by them, and maybe you are not living up to your family expectations in some way, you know. I feel like many of you will feel like you are financially and economically unhappy in 2022. And as I said, often because of maybe you have some taxes, unexpected high, yeah, that you might pay more than you thought, or you will not get back as lot as you thought. You know, there is this unhappiness when it comes to financially. If this is not pointing at your family, it's pointing at the financial situation, and overall that you feel unhappy when it comes to the financial, you know. Maybe some authority is demanding more money than what you were counting on, so that it potentially will leaving you feeling financial unstable in some way. And as I said, be careful who you trust. And if you are taking a leap of faith in 2022, do your research beforehand. Do not trust everyone and everything, you know. Do your research before you jump, because some Virgos in 2022 will take a leap of faith and might be quite disappointed if you don't do your research before you make a deal or sign papers without reading everything closely and doing your research. Do your research. Maybe some of you are having trouble when it comes to this, not living up to your family's expectations. Maybe some of you are having some sexual that you are, for example, you are bisexual or a lesbian or gay, you know, that is something that the family will not accept. Maybe that is, if you are choosing to go out with that in 2022, that you will meet a lot of obstacles in your family, that your family will not accept it in some way. But I feel like there will be some new horizons for you in 2022. And there will be a lot of new projects and so on, Virgo. But as I said, again, do your research, because be careful about trusting authority and people that is advising you, because you might not get the best advice, you know. And I feel like some of you will seek financial advice from someone. Maybe, as I said, I think it's a revisor in English too. You know, someone that gives financial advice. Maybe you have enough money that you feel like you maybe you want to travel and so on. And as I said, it might make it quite difficult for you. Because there seems to be some Your luck won't always be on your side in 2022. And as I said, I feel like some of you are worrying a lot about aging relative. Maybe one of your parents. I think I'll leave it at that, Virgo. And if you want a private reading, you can contact me on earthangeltarot@hotmail.com. And if you have any questions, you can comment down below or ask me in my email or on my Facebook group with the same name, Nightwitch Tarot, because I'm also putting this video there. And we will find a time and date. So, good luck, Virgo. Be careful about who you trust and seek advice from. If you are going through changes or taking some leap of faith, before you jump into anything, do your research beforehand and take it slowly. Make slow changes, because if you do it too fast, like you might want to, it can be trouble. Let's see, Virgo, what Raphael has in store for you for 2022. What does Virgo need to know for 2022? What advice do you have, Raphael, when it comes to the health, psychologically and physical health for 2022? I will shuffle 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. You got prayer for works, and you got sobriety, and you got stay positive. I can show you the cards. And you got sobriety. And you got stay positive. So let's see, Virgo. Prayer works. Archangel Raphael sends this card to inspire you to increase your prayers surrounding your health question. This may mean putting requests into prayer groups, such as those associated with churches or temples. It also calls for you to pray more personally and to ask your spiritually minded loved ones to join you. Hundreds of well-documented and carefully designed studies have supported the healing power of prayer and have ruled out the placebo effect. There's evidence that the more people who pray for a cause, the better result, regardless of the type of denomination of the prayer. Raphael joins you in praying for the best possible outcome, as well as peace for everyone involved. And remember, the answer to your prayer is actually better and different from what you may expect. Possible specific meanings are: pray about every aspect of this situation. Instead of worrying, pray. Talk honestly with God and the angels about your fears, desires, and feelings. Ask for help and then accept assistance when it's offered. Start a prayer or support group for the issue at hand. The prayer you can do is: Dear God and Archangel Raphael, thank you for hearing and answering my prayers of, and then you know the details for what your prayer is about, Amen. And you got sobriety. I do not comment so much on this card because I read and leave it up to you. So sobriety. This card appears because your health, for the health of the person you're inquiring about, improves as you adopt a sober lifestyle. Archangel Raphael can reduce or eliminate addictive cravings and help you adjust so that recovery is pleasant and harmonious. Raphael can also guide you to specific healthcare professionals or support groups to heal the addictive cycle. A chemical-free lifestyle is beneficial in this situation and will boost your energy, vitality, and self-esteem. Possible specific meanings are that you are becoming increasingly sensitive to chemicals, so take steps to avoid them. Reduce or eliminate chemicals in your home or office. Another person's addictions are affecting your health and happiness, so attend an AA meeting. Avoid chemically treated foods, preservatives or pesticides, genetic modification, and so forth. The prayer you can do is: Dear God and Archangel Raphael, thank you for adjusting my cravings in a healthful direction so that I only desire life-affirming foods and beverages. Amen. And you got stay positive, Virgo. Scientists and theologians agree optimism is the healthiest way to live. You will receive this card because Archangel Raphael wants you to revive your belief that this situation is unfolding in a positive ways. So please give Raphael any worries so that he can help you maintain a beneficial mindset. One reason why scientific studies correlate optimism with good health is that those who are hopeful are more likely to take preventive healthcare steps. So this card is also guiding you to act towards your overall well-being. Possible specific meanings are: choose only positive words in your thoughts and speech, and avoid complaining, and trust and expect a miracle, Virgo. The prayer you can do is: Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me be optimistic and take the appropriate action steps that support my health. Amen. And the bottom card is give us your cares, and that is talking about giving your cares to God and the angels, you know, and your worries, so that you allow them to completely let go, so that you can fully be guided in the situation by God and the angels, you know. I think I'll leave it at that. Will go. Thank you so much for listening. Like and subscribe. Have a blessed spot and full moon, every witch out there. Bye. Ha det bra. Blessed be.